Hey coaches, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. You've been going through over 130 hours of coach training between the live sessions and the online content. You've been practicing, you've been taking these constant lessons and applying them to your regular work and oftentimes your personal life as well. You have also seen ways to improve, going through this experience of being put into that nervous state of coaching and consistently getting feedback and learning through that feedback. And thank you for being so open to it. I can't anticipate everyone who watches this video in the future, but I know the normal path, the common path of becoming a coach, becoming a better coach. And it takes a lot of courage, vulnerability to have gone through all of that mentor coaching, assessing live session assessment and review, feedback. Thank you for being open to it all. Thank you for caring enough to get into this coach training. And so with all of this, it's really, truly time to celebrate. And I don't want to just pass this by too quickly. It is truly time to celebrate. You've done so much for yourself, and the work that you have done through this program will impact the lives of others you serve, others in your normal everyday life, because these skills impact who we are and how we show up. And so thank you. And I hope that you do celebrate. We're going to take some time to reflect on how we do end a coaching program or any kind of program in relation to group coaching or developmental program where someone's invested a lot of time, the kinds of questions you can ask as a coach. And I do invite you to take these questions and apply them to yourself as we begin to wrap up our time together in this core program. And there will always be videos to reshoot and extra training that I intend to build, but this is a meaningful spot for me too. And I want to reflect because this is the wrap up of the core experience. And it's been quite a journey going through this program the first time and building it together, and to see the success and growth of everyone that we've worked with so far. And I'm very thrilled to think about what comes next. That is in the essence of what we'll be doing for our clients whenever we wrap up a meaningful program. We want to take some time for reflection, to offer acknowledgement and congratulations. We also want to take time to help them reflect on how they want to commemorate, to celebrate this moment in their lives. So let's take a little bit of time to look at some nice questions to use for reflection, and then we'll continue on from there. And these questions you can also ask yourself as you think about your journey and how you've grown. What were the biggest challenges during this time? The roadblocks, the moments you might have thought, this is too much, this is not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be this hard, or it sounded easy at the beginning and now I'm seeing how much I have to change. What was the biggest challenge for you? And of course, this is a question you can ask your client. What did you learn through the experience? About yourself, about what matters, about your growth? Based on your experience and the challenges, how are you more prepared for your future? Your future as a coach, but also a future as a person. What made it all meaningful and significant? What made it worth it? Who have you become? And oftentimes that's a bit surprising to see, both in a coaching experience as a client and also as someone going through coach training, how much we change through the experience. Who have you become through the experience? And what message would you give yourself if you could go back to the beginning, to the start of the program? What advice would you give? Encouragement would you give? Just kind of hear that for yourself for a moment. How do you want to remember the lessons that you've gained through the experience? Now, all of these questions, these are oftentimes going to be driven by the coach if you're offering them to your client. And so you do want to make sure that you set, and I know we've talked about this part with the previous video, but you do want to set aside that time with the client when you do this for a final session. Set aside 10, 15 minutes for a final session to do some of this reflection. But beyond reflection, you need to do your part to make this a meaningful moment because of all of the work that the client has done up to this point, and hear all the meaningful work you have done up to this point. So let's look at congratulating the client and congratulating yourself, calling out all the reflections that you've prepared. You offer those reflections to the client. They will be doing the processing live. It's good for you to do some of the processing ahead of time. What did you see in them that they did so well throughout this entire experience? So call those reflections, those observations of their growth from beginning to end. Seek to tell the story of how they've changed from the moment they first stepped into a session with you to where they are in this moment. Tell that story, give it back to them for their own reflection. You can add to that story what they bring up, to use their language of the reflection in this moment to make your storytelling of their journey even more impactful, more alive in that moment of wrapping up the final session. And of course, offer meaningful acknowledgments. This is where the whole idea of, oh, I really loved it. That's me focused. That's coach focused. Drop it. What did they do? What did you do as the coach in training? What did they do as the client in coaching? Acknowledge the work, the vulnerability, the determination, the resilience. And I do want to acknowledge that. And everyone who gets through to this point in a program, everyone who's been a part of this program, honest, good work. It takes a lot. Not just in the time you spent, but in the courage to show up again and again, knowing that you will have these little failures and these small wins, and that it all builds up to a better version of yourself, a better version of your skills as a coach. This is meaningful. Congratulations on getting here. And you want to offer that acknowledgement to your clients as well for the work that they have done for themselves in development. Make it authentic. Make it real. Make it real to the moment of the session and to the relationship as a whole. And then you can carry that forward over to commemorating, to celebrating, commemorating, making this moment in time, the end, the wrap up, the entire program of coaching or coach training, something to recall, something to be seen as a milestone in one's life, a key part of the story, a chapter to commemorate. A nice, fun one. This isn't necessarily for big celebration, but it's a nice, fun, light one. What are you going to do with this time when we aren't meeting, especially if you're meeting on a regular basis? But with coach training, this one is oftentimes a fun one to explore. What do you want to do the first time you have this time back? When we're not meeting, you know you've done your journey. What is this time going to be dedicated to next week or next time we would have met? What will you do to celebrate? And help them maybe make a bit of an action plan around this. And you want to be able to take some time to wrap up the experience, especially if you've had a consistent, longer coaching arrangement. How will you remember? How will you commemorate? What will be your reminder of the journey you've been on and the lessons that you learned? Helping them create a reminder for themselves to make this stick. And finally, what are you most excited to do next? As you think about the next chapter in your journey. What will that chapter be all about? And why is that next journey so significant to you? So you want to take this time to commemorate, to celebrate, encourage them to make a real celebration for themselves, and to get excited about where things go beyond your coaching relationship with them. And I'm excited for everyone here. The work that you do as a coach has a ripple effect in the lives of everybody else. So from the bottom of my heart, congratulations. Congratulations for being here, for getting here, and for being prepared to make a bigger impact on the lives of everyone you work with, you serve, and just everyone in your life as you bring these skills when they're needed, when they're meaningful, and make more creative thoughts, make more awareness, build better bridges, have better communication, support better relationships, support overall life, progress, and growth in everyone you meet and all those that you serve. Congratulations for being here. And as always, thank you for coaching.